In the dark, leaves flutter, silhouetted against a dim, blurred landscape. Glowing lines of animated sound waves appear as a cricket chirps. The sound waves bounce off of a large bird. A small bird lands on a rock. An owl emits a complex three-dimensional sound wave. Wobbly letters float into view and come into sharp focus with the title Soundscape. The bird flies through the title and the letters dissipate. In the pre-dawn darkness, Erik Weihenmayer hands Timmy O'Neill a bell.
So this is it, dude. This is follow the leader, right?
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Eastern Sierra, California, 4:05 a.m. The climbers in their gear cross an unlit parking lot. Erik follows the sound of the bell as Timmy walks ahead of him. He navigates with the use of 2 walking sticks. He detects a large log and steps over it.
When I went blind, I was so scared. I had this total FOMO disease, fear of missing out. I wanted to experience everything. I love lighting up what's around every corner. I just want to know everything.
Timmy O'Neill, professional climber and guide.
Erik and I have known each other for over 20 years. He's been wanting to climb the Hulk for years. I've been wanting to share it with him because I find it to be one of the most compelling pieces of stone on the planet.
At 11,300 feet, the incredible Hulk looms over a valley.
I knew that it would be difficult, but Erik is one of the fastest, most capable hikers who happens to be visually impaired.
The climbers walk through a meadow at first light.
I just naturally gravitate towards sound. You can do this thing called echolocating.
Ripples radiate from his footsteps, lighting up rock on either side of the path.
You can get the shapes of things vibrating and bouncing off of objects and coming back at you.
In the early morning light, Timmy taps a protruding broken branch on a log as they traverse it across the stream.
And you're going to feel this tripper coming up with your pole. Yeah, good deal.
Erik sidesteps along the log as he probes the area with his sticks.
It's really quite beautiful because there's such nuance to sound if you learn to pay attention. Like, if it's a hard rock, it's a really crisp bounce back into my ears. If it's a tree with a bunch of leaves, it's very soft and filtered. That's just one half of the equation. The other half is trying to eke out beauty with my other senses. A lot of the reason that we get out there in the outdoors is not just to learn information, but to have something beautiful in your life.
They pause to touch Indian paintbrush flowers. The team ascends a multi-tiered steep incline.
So Erik can't wait for his foot to feel right. He just has to wait to feel his foot, and then he's moving forward.
Erik feels ahead with his stick and puts down his left foot. Then with the right stick and places that foot forward.
If you wait until you think it's going to be a perfect step, then you're never going to take a step.
With a bad drop to the left.
Sometimes I gotta be like, dude, slow down, man. This is way worse than you think. And he's like, maybe for you.
The climbers use approach shoes with grippy, flexible soles.
90% of the time, I see the movement, like, immediately. 10% of the time, I think I see it, and it's completely wrong.
Erik accidentally pulls on a loose boulder, dislodging ones above that roll onto him.
Good job.
At a higher level, Erik points his arm forward, and Timmy guides it by holding his wrist and moving it up and down and across the top outline of the peak.
Well, a lot of times my partners will take my finger and they'll run it across the mountains, the serrated ridges. And it's like kind of like when I used to draw pictures as a kid when I could see. The page is sort of blank. And then as your pencil moves across the page and you're creating this image, you know, it all comes into focus. It comes into being.
Timmy and Erik kick their feet into a steep snowfield at the base of the formation and traverse across.
I'm confident in not only Erik's ability to do it, but his desire to be there. And he's a really dedicated climber. He loves the movement. He loves the locations. He's 100% there.
Erik ties a figure-of-8 knot to secure the end of the rope into his climbing harness at his waist.
Finally at the base of the Hulk. I know. Does it look like what you thought it would look like?
Like, it sounds more open over there than here.
You're exactly right.
It's sort of a little bit of a scary sound because you hear this wall that just runs up and it sounds very steep.
Nice, see, so when you're ready, I'm up, you're up. We're doing this. We're going rock scrambling. Climbing on Gray!
They climb using separate ropes, and Timmy climbs between 5 and 15 feet above Erik.
Yep. And then I reached in the crack with my left hand, down a little lower. Yeah, and then I came out on the face, actually. Yes, that's exactly it. Perfect.
Erik reaches forward and to the left and right, running his hands over the rocks. He replaces a hand with a foot and pulls himself up.
As I'm climbing, I guess if you were thinking about it visually, I am not necessarily focused and seeing the whole rock face in front of me. Imagine like darkness and then a little flashlight kind of moving up the face. What I'm feeling under my hands and feet is the part that's lit up. And so I'm beginning to create a visual image of the rock around me. When I touch a hold, that's when it really lights up in my brain. The stuff beyond my hands is dark.
And this is where it's... Where are you gonna put that right foot? Smear it out there. Go, do that riblet. Go up a little higher. There. What if you pushed it against that?
In there.
I mean, now it's a little bit lower. Yeah, a little bit around there, that thing.
Yeah,
Without
okay.
stepping on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Erik is about 800 vertical feet above
Yes,
the ground.
perfect. Good. Now you'll tilt into the face.
I'm doing a ton of work because I don't see the big picture. Sometimes there's this amazing hold and I'm just missing it with my hand.
Back behind here. Yeah, that's it. Really good. Nice, dude.
A lot of times I find something and it may not be the best thing, but because it's a matter of how much strength I have to hold on, I'll just try to figure out a way to use it because it's more efficient to use the crappy hold than it is to maybe find the good one.
Timmy taps his foot on the wall so Erik can echolocate the ideal hold.
Up to here. Yeah, right here. Feel this. Feel this. Down here. I stepped on that thing.
Okay.
Definitely was stepping on it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Sweet, dude. That thing, yeah. Up on Gray?
Got it.
Good job, eh? Nice. Thanks, Bo.
Timmy pays out rope to the leader above, who will then snugly pull up the ropes that are attached to him and Erik.
Match feet on that hold.
Perfecto. Very good.
I don't know, there's just something beautiful about your body just figuring out movement in a vertical environment.
Erik's hands search the rough granite face for purchase.
It's very physical and very gritty.
Erik squeezes his body into a chimney-like crack and alternates pressure with his feet, legs, and arms to shimmy upward. He inserts his hands into a narrow section of crack and cups his fingers and palm to secure himself and pull up.
Nice, Erik.
Because I know where my body is. I know I can sense my body.
Chuck a hand in. Very good.
And I think in a way that's kind of a sense of the scenery for me, how my body can move through that environment.
Yeah. That's it.
And it's a connection with my physical being and my spirit and the rock.
Erik pushes his right foot onto the blank wall to create friction between the rock and the tacky rubber sole of his climbing shoe.
People always ask, why would he go if he can't see it? As if that's the only reason that you would go.
Really good. You might be just bumping the right foot up.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Really good, bro. Yep, I move sort of right through this. Yes, dude.
Erik slowly and
So
surely nears the
My
summit.
greatest fear going blind wasn't going blind. It was being left out of everything exciting and adventuresome in my life.
Good job, E. Yeah.
Is that the summit?
Yeah, we're right here.
I have to touch it. I have to hear it. I have to smell it, you know? That's direct beauty for me.
If I live
Yeah.
through the day,
Yes.
this will be one of the best days ever. But only if I live.
Timmy uses Erik's index finger to outline the jagged horizon.
The other stuff is too distant. And, you know, I gotta let that stuff go because it'll create this life of envy or disappointment or expectations I could never meet. So yeah, in a way, you have to like stab that thing in the heart and say, that's gone. I'm gonna experience the world in a totally different way. And it'll be my way, and it'll be just as good.
Ow! Ow! It doesn't like drop off.
No, it's still
But when you're on a summit, a lot of times those sound vibrations are just moving out through space and they have nothing to bounce off of, and it's infinite. It's like you've been swallowed by sky, you know, you're just part of this like huge infinite expanse. It's really beautiful and very intimidating because you're just this tiny little being engulfed in this universe of sound. And it's a really stunning experience.
Erik's animated self floats up and away from the mountain into a sky vibrating with sound waves. Soundscape. Directed and written by Timmy O'Neill. Producer Sarah Lee Steele. Featuring Erik Weihenmayer and Timmy O'Neill. Audio description written and narrated by Bonnie Barlow. The animated cricket leaps through a sound wave and disappears.